A lot of my community always asks me, what do I think about intermittent fasting? And I always tell them I do it intuitively.
Who's my role model when it comes to intermittent fasting? My mother. She doesn't have dinner.
If somebody doesn't honor your boundary, what do you do?
What do I do? Oh my God. I'm actually learning this, like sometimes I just disappear. Right?
What I can say is that I have so much respect for plant medicine.
When I went through Heartbreak, plant medicine guided me.
This episode is brought to you by Bio-individuality, a wellness brand dedicated to empowering women to balance their hormones naturally and reconnect with their bodies. You can learn more at bio-individuality.com. Thank you for joining us, Ella.
I'm so excited to talk to you, Giselle. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I have so many questions to ask you, and I think we can start by, you lived in a farm. Did you grow up in a farm?
Yes. So I grew up in a very small town where my parents and my grandparents were completely self-sufficient and self-reliant on the food that they grew on in their garden, in their orchards, and the animals that were part of the living in the lifestyle.
Do you think that shaped your whole life? Or was there something that happened to you that you said, hold on, there's something not right here right now?
Well, it definitely shaped me in the way that I didn't know it was shaping me, because as a young teenager, I was looking at all of this. I don't know if if you've ever tried to grow any vegetable, it takes a long time. And if you're trying to grow enough produce for a big family, there's 13 of us, it takes a whole summer of yours to take care of the produce, to take care of all the bushes, all the plants, to take the weeds out, to water them. And then as a young teenager, I looked at all this and I said, you guys are all losers. You can buy this stuff, right? You don't have to slave away your life to do this. And so as soon as I turned 18, I was gone. I left my hometown. And by the age of 19, I was already in New York City, going up and down Park Avenue, and this little girl with big dreams. I was like, I'm going to become somebody here. And this city is going to be my playground. And I did. Fast forward 5 years later, I worked on Wall Street, exactly on Park Avenue, with a beautiful office, with the glass walls, floor to ceiling. And I looked around again and I was like, this is not inspiring. I was earning all this money and giving it all away to all the holistic practitioners, to doctors, to dermatologists, to all types of trainings to buy my health back, because stress was killing me. I was one of those type A people that are just go, go, go. The competition was driving me forward, but it was not fulfilling me at night. I was one of those people who called sleep a waste of time. I would get up at 5 a.m., do my workout. By 7 a.m., I would be at the office with the Wall Street Journal, ready for the meetings. And then one day I looked around and I looked at my boss, who never saw her children, who never really, exuded happiness. And I looked at her and I thought to myself, I don't want to be her. And so I left Wall Street. And then slowly, through yoga, through meditation, through different mindfulness practices, I found my way into wellness space. And that's how I completely turned my career 360, and I got into nutrition and wellness and lifestyle medicine. This is where it finally hit me one day that I was like, I know all of this. I had that wisdom inside of me that I never tapped into because of the social norms. I became what's called a product of the environment. In New York City, no one glorifies farming. In Switzerland, maybe, yes, but not in New York. And so slowly but surely, after I got my degree from NYU, I realized that NYU was training me to be part of the hospital systems. And I didn't learn that much except for nutrition science and being able to really understand the deeper processes and explain this to different populations groups. And this is what I do now. But the lifestyle medicine of it, the connection to nature, connection to nurture, and the nourishment that we get, of course, I got it from my childhood. I didn't get it from NYU.
But is it so, because we grew up, right? I'm from Venezuela, and I was eating a certain way. We were eating actually very healthy. We were having our healthy carb, rice. Well, we love rice. Rice. If somebody tells me don't eat rice, I'll be like, get out. You don't tell somebody from Venezuela to not eat rice. Yeah. We were eating our soup, our veggie soup, and protein and salad every day. But when I moved to Miami, because I didn't understand why I was eating that way. There was no like education of like, oh, this is why we're eating the protein. This is why we're eating the salads. Then when I moved to Miami, I didn't have a sense of, why I was eating like that. So I started eating other things, and that's when I learned also about GMOs. So when you felt that you were like, hold on, I know all this thing, you started understanding more of why your family and why everything was happening, and you got that understanding. And so you had to go back to the beginning.
And that's what the Blue Zone research that people invested so much money into, really proving that eating locally and eating the produce, that very simple, very organic, and that when it's grown by you, like with the organic, instead of pesticides, they use organic fertilizers. It tastes so much better. You don't need a ton of flavoring to eat it. Like all this simple. That's what makes the Italian cuisine so genius. It's simple ingredients that are actually flavorful. All of the Italian cuisine is just tomatoes, basils, salt, and flour for the pizza or for the pasta. Done. I don't know why the rest of the world just loves it exactly for that, because of the flavor, the ingredient. And also the peasant's food. The Blue Zone's research also indicates like you have to eat like simple foods that you could find. You don't need anything from the plastic bag. That's why all those Blue Zones are actually islands, because they don't have Amazon deliveries. They don't have Whole Foods there. You just have to rely on your own or on your neighbors. If you can't grow something, you barter. You grow one thing, they grow another thing, and then you exchange. And that's what creates the community living. And that's literally how I grew up. And that's what now the research indicates is actually a way forward. Now it's my dream to have a farm, to invite everyone there and to actually establish their relationship with food. You come in the spring, you plant the seed. You come in the summer, you take care of your plant. And then you come in this fall and you pickle your vegetable. And then you eat it during the winter. And then the whole cycle begins again.
That's so beautiful. And in a way, like, that's kind of like, that's also, I see myself doing that in the future. Nowadays, it's kind of like everything is moving so fast. And even women, we are working more, we are living our, let's say, our dream or our passion. We feel very empowered with what we are doing. How, if we don't have that farm to table available, like, what should we focus on?
Well, if you don't figure out a way to have that access, it's actually, you'll be surprised. It is available, just most people don't look for that. But if you try to find, the simple start is start growing your vegetables on your balcony, right? There's all these like little gardens, even in your kitchen, start growing your herbs.
Which one are the best?
Scallions and basil, very easy to take care of. And it just grows like without really, like, even if you forget to water it, it's kind of like doesn't really die off right away. Those are my favorite. Basils I always have. Sometimes I have oregano, thyme. But those are my go-to because I travel a lot, so that's a problem still. But I always teach my clients, get to know your farmers. Once you find, there's also the CSA, like that you could support your farmer. They ship the box to you, and every month you get a box of whatever that is that they were able to grow. You never know, and then you get to learn about all these funky vegetables that you don't even know the name of. Or you go to the farmer's market. I always tell you, get to know your farmer. Look at their hands. Listen to their stories. Ask them for new recipes. How do they eat that stuff? So that's for me is a good start in terms of nourishment, in terms of nutrition. But you know what they say, like, there are monks that live like off of rice the rest of their life. It's all has to do with different types of nourishment. Food is just one of them, right? But there's what's called primary foods. It's the energy that penetrates you and you surround yourself with, right? It's the energy of your relationships. It's the energy of your work, of your projects, because like longevity is not a one size fits all. There are Americans that live way into their 90s. They could teach you and I about longevity, and they've been eating the American diet their whole life. Warren Buffett is one of them. He's 93 and he's thriving on Coca-Cola and burgers, right? Has a lot to do with what I call the primary foods, which are relationships, the energy, the work, and your overall mindset of how you view yourself and your existence, the meaningful connections in your life.
That is so true. And I actually learned that when I got my certification with Integrative Nutrition School.
Yeah.
And it was so, if I tell you the story, while I was studying, I had a relationship and I was giving him all these things that he needed to read and all these things because I wanted to change him.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh my God, I'm the one who needs to change.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm the one that is in this relationship that I shouldn't be here, you know? So like a lot of things started like showing up, but it's so true.
I can relate.
It's so true. When you start putting that plate in front where there's no food and you start checking like, how's your relationships? How's your career? Are you doing what you love? Or is it something that you're doing because, you know, your parents or all these things? It's so,
and
so
it doesn't
important.
have to be like now with social media, everyone's like comparing all these aspects. It doesn't have to be. I spent the whole month of August, I just got back off of Instagram and it was so good. That feeling that we're really after, it's not the looks, it's the feeling. It's this fulfillment that in your heart, you feel connected and fulfilled with whatever it is for you. And it could be different. For someone, it's a rental. For others, it's a house that they own, right? But it's the feeling that they carry inside of that home. So that's why money's not going to buy you happiness. It's not going to buy you that. And also even the food, there's a saying, no matter how much broccoli you eat, if you hate your life or if you hate your relationship, you're never going to be happy or healthy. So that's, I always try to remind people, especially those who get obsessed over like the quality. I'm not going to touch anything that's not organic. I was like, there's a risk benefit analysis that we should do, like how much stress you're adding to your life just because of this mindset.
I feel like nowadays today, like a lot of people are looking for that special supplement or special peptide that will erase all of their symptoms and
all of their worry and anxiety.
And all the worry that they need to work on. But it's really like, how can you go within and see what really is causing many of the symptoms? Because sometimes we think it's that, but there's something even deeper. And you do a lot of conferences and you're on stage. What do you feel people crave the most when it comes to health and longevity? What do you feel like people ask you more or are just like, I want Ella to talk to me about this because there's so much information out there that I don't know where to start.
Without getting into specifics, I think what's everyone's craving is clarity and having this like certainty that they gather all this data from the outside, from the documentaries, from the experts or these books, right? Or the bloggers or influencers. They're gathering this data and they're trying to simplify it in their head. So they have some sort of like quick and easy understanding of what it is, what they should be doing, what they're doing right or doing wrong, and how they should be showing up in their family and for their children and for their families. And so this is what I really try to provide. And actually, just to summarize our nutrition talk that you asked me, I trademarked a term called Tarian, because what I truly want to bring into this industry is exactly what I said, the clarity. I want everyone to invest their time, energy, and money in getting to know themselves, because your body is, and your reality and your story and your DNA is not like anyone else's. And this is what the only thing you should be worrying about, and getting all the data and information from what I say, the outside in, instead of outside in, like when you're trying to get it from outside and you're trying to make sense of it, like, is this, and then very often you realize these people that are educating you online, they're not talking about you, they're talking about someone else, and you don't need that information. But if you really gather data, like the different testing that you do, or even like the questionnaire with the DNA, and you understand what your body thrives on and what nourishes your body, or what loves your body as much as you love it, that's all you need to know. And it gives you the empowerment, it gives you the peace, it gives you the clarity to just do other things and to build, because nourishment is just one thing. And then there's, especially for women, there's so much going on. The women can do it all, absolutely do it all. We can build career, we can give, birth to different lives. And then the nourishment should be just the fundamental, the foundation that we build on. And we should never, and that's what I try to eliminate in the industry, should not have any confusions around it.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting? Because you just mentioned that there's so much going on with women, and we even have like different cycles. Like we're so different than men, but there's not enough studies done to women.
That is correct.
What do you think about that? Like, why is that happening and how can we change it?
That is correct. It's been ignored in the industry for so long. Thankfully, it's changing. As of like even this week, there's so many new funds that are allocating money towards research in women, especially hormonal research, because we're changing. And also, one of the books that I wrote, Feed Your Hormones, because I saw how women get very just like nasty against themselves, especially when they get bloated. God forbid. They feel like they need to be the same all day, every day, 365 days a year. And it's impossible with the changes and the fluctuations that go on underneath our skin. And this is what I try to bring an understanding that it's okay to have a little more cravings one week and less the other week. It's okay to detox one week right after your period, but don't detox before your period. That's when your hormones need proteins the most, and the vegan diet is the least best approach from what you could do. So that's what I did. I kind of combined all these dietary approaches that you could totally go higher carbs. Yeah, that one, Feed Your Hormones. And it's an approach to 28-day cycle that if you want to detox, if you want to do a green juice, this is a specific time to do it. And it really like, if we were to advocate for women's health, for their understanding, if every woman were to stop completely listening or like being confused from all the noise outside, if she really tuned in, she really feels it. That like after your period is gone, this is a time to feel good when you don't have any cravings, right? But when you do have a period, I learned it from one of my clients who's a model. She says she has 2 sizes of jeans because during PMS, even models get bloated. And what she does, she doesn't talk, badly about herself and her body. She just puts on jeans 1 size bigger, and that's all she does. And it's actually in my book because you deserve to feel beautiful every day. And it's really the self-talk. Like sometimes I have to stop my clients, the way they speak about themselves in my office. I'm like, yeah, you can't talk like this. My client you're talking about, so, and it's this drive and being so hard on yourself is really where the problem starts. Yeah. But, again, all these visuals online, we somehow project this perfect vision of someone else. And the reality is no one's perfect.
There's so much wisdom within us as women. We're so intuitive. I don't think we even recognize the power that we have. And you said something really beautiful. It's like, maybe we need this book, right? But once we really embody and we feel, we are going to get that message from our body, because our cells are constantly communicating us. Like, why don't you feel like drinking that green juice right now? It's not that you're being lazy. It's not that you're like procrastinating. It's not that you said you wanted to start and like your body doesn't need the green juice right now. That's why you're craving. That's why you're craving more meat. That's why you're craving more protein, more fat, and more things. So it's actually our body is so smart. And I love that you really said
and that's my goal, to connect women, like their mind to their body. And I always say, like, I serve as an interpreter, someone who interprets what your body needs and thrives on to your mind and to your body. So this way you can teach your daughters to do the same. So you don't need me, or like, don't go around and tell like, oh, it's because this diet or because Ella told me this is what to do. No, just do what's right for you and teach your family and your children how to do that.
I love that. And you know what example I always give to? Because when I was a little girl, one of my parents, he used to force me to finish the plate. And if I didn't finish the plate, I couldn't get out of the table, So I grew up like that. And then, once I have kids and I'm very into conscious parenting and just, which is being aware of my own BS.
You have 2, right?
You have 2, 6 and 8. And really conscious parenting is being aware about your own BS. Like it's not about them, it's about you. Like, what is it that you need to work on? And I taught my girls, like, whenever you feel that you're full, let me know, and they can tell you, like they take this, my mom is full and all these things. But I think if we don't teach our children that, then how, when they grow up, how they know when they're full? Why do they have this a lot of people have this programming of like, oh, I need to finish my whole plate or the whole burrito or the whole sandwich. Just because. No, you stop when you're full. Listen to your body.
Good point. That's why I hate counting calories. It's like, if you want me to count your calories, don't even come to me. I always teach my clients kind of like visually how much they need, but I always tell them, like, I provide like, wearable devices so they can understand what's going on underneath their body. But it all comes down to like really feeling what's right or what's wrong for them. And same thing for me, like, and even adults, like when they tell you when you're eating with like really good appetite, that means you're hungry and you have appetite for the food. As soon as you start getting distracted, especially at restaurants, it's hard to tell because those portions are huge. And as soon as you start getting distracted, and then how like you're done and someone's asked you, and someone had to ask you that means like you don't want to eat. But what happens? Like, no, I'm still working, right? And also my goal, my rule is to don't really have a lot of conversations during, don't get distracted, on purpose, but avoiding these conversations. But you really know at the end of the day when you're full. And, what I say, like, drop the membership of the Clean Plates Club. That's really what I have to tell sometimes my clients, like, you don't have to have a clean plate.
A lot of my community always asks me, what do I think about intermittent fasting? And I always tell them I do it intuitively. So I do it intuitively. So my body sometimes is going to be what exactly what we were just talking about, kind of like what kind of foods you want to eat. Can you dive more into that?
Oh, absolutely. Who's my role model when it comes to intermittent fasting? My mother. She doesn't have dinner. And it doesn't matter what you tell her, the community, the pressure. I mean, of course, she would like have like a dinner with when the whole family gathers, but she doesn't have dinner. And it's like, it's a normal thing for her. She's like, I don't want to. What types of questions you asking? Like, why do I have to define you? Why I don't want to eat? And it's really like when everything in nature, when the sun goes down, everything in nature just closes and prepares for the rest. The flowers turn away, everything just like goes its own way. And this is where it's our time to start preparing for a rest and digest and for recovery. Our brain recovers and the detoxification really happens at night. And so to help that process, we should avoid eating late. And that's the very first step towards intermittent fasting. Naturally, we all fast when we're sleeping. And I always tell my clients, if you want to do it naturally, you want to build up on those 7 to 8 hours of intermittent fasting that you sleep. And it's either best ways to avoid late night eating, to front load your day with calories. But I know a lot of people prefer the opposite because it's so much easier to skip breakfast than dinner these days. But really, if I were to take you to live with me in the mountains or in the farm for 2 months without social media, you'll naturally be eating less when it comes to sunset. And when sun's up early in the morning, when everything has more energy, you'll be hungry. And that's the advice that I give my clients. Instead of focusing on the hours and intermittent fasting, like if you want to wake up with flat belly, full of energy, without any need for coffee or caffeinated beverages, avoid late night eating. Do that experiment for 21 days and you'll notice you'll wake up hungry, naturally full of energy, and naturally less bloated.
I love that. And I actually learned to eat earlier when I had my girls.
Yes, they go to bed early. I love being around children.
And I go to sleep early too.
Because they know something. And also older people do the same thing. The early bird dinners, right? So they go to bed at 9 o'clock. So they have dinners at 6. And if you notice, we only get away like in the midlife with pushing our schedules and eating and dining out late, but it's not creating any good for us. And now that we're seeing there's so much evidence on like how living in natural rhythms with nature and synchronizing our sleep cycles with nature is the best way to do it.
I love that. Do you think that, and this is like a very, like, I don't even like the word aging, but we have to use it. Do you think a lot of people are aging faster because their digestive system is always working, because there's always meals, snacks, and also maybe they go to sleep and they're still digesting? What do you think?
That's so funny that you presented this way, but if I were to present a parallel thought, it's definitely the calorie restriction and eating less is the best way to prevent aging, right? But of course, no one looked at like how eating really affects aging. But it's definitely, when you live in nature, in harmony with nature, and the people would say that's like you eat less naturally because you avoid all the additional calories. Even if you make a pie or fried potatoes, but if you make it from real ingredients, you make it yourself, you don't eat that much of it. And so it really like the caloric deficiency, meaning like eating less calories, is definitely the best way to slowing down aging.
Yeah.
But if you were to look at it like the burden that our organs are experiencing with all the like abundance of calories or caloric intake that we have in this country, most likely yes, because it affects not just digestion, it affects everything else, because our digestion works good in most cases up until like, let's say 40, depending on the our special cases. But most people, but it affects everything else. It puts a burden on your liver, it puts a burden on your fatty tissues, right? So all of these organs work extra hard. And of course, we only want everything to work and grow extra hard during teenage years when we grow really fast. But if you want to speed up your aging, yeah, that's the one way to do it, to eat extra and more than the way we do, like too much food. Yeah.
Why do you think people, let's talk about women, because I talk to women, are so addicted to sugar? And how can they start a journey of taking sugar off?
Yeah.
But not in a like, I don't know. I don't want to sound like you take the sugar off, because listen, I love fruits, and I think fruits are very high frequency
sugar.
But like that's the thing that some people think that we are probably saying like all fruits, everything that has sugar.
When we say sugar, we mean the refined, the white substance that is added sugar to the product. When we say fruits, that's mostly fructose, and that's embedded, and there's a synergetic effect of fiber and antioxidants. There's so much going on out in the fruit, other like in addition to just sugar. So I would never take a naturally occurring sugar and define it as sugar. That's like getting into specifics. But what the problem is actually is real sugar, refined sugar, which is, it's used everywhere, even in traditional cuisine. It's still used, like all the pies and baked goods, even some of the culinary, like even in Italian cuisine, they add a little bit of sugar to like things to make it better. But naturally, the way and I've been in the clinical practice for so long, I've seen so many patients over the years. The way I lead people off of sugar is first you define like how that I would sign off of sugar high sugar consumption does drive off aging. The best way to age faster is to consume sugar added products, and the way to like detox from it is to kind of trick your mind. I always tell my clients, for example, there are people that are still adding sugar to their coffees and teas, right? And I always tell them like try putting like 1 spoon instead of like 2 spoons. That's one way. It's still sugar. You tell yourself it's still sugar, but less. Definitely works with some people. Then I tell them, try to skip one day. Or like if it's a like a candy that you're addicted to, or cookies, right? I have those clients too that just tell me like, I'm a bank owner, like all these people are relying on me. I have to go into these meetings and I have to give them all this, and like I need energy. I need to have my cookies every day. And I tell them like, why don't you skip one day? Have it one day and then skip the other day, and then feel good that like you just had it yesterday and you will have it tomorrow, so you don't have to have it today. So those slow steps, and then suddenly this person only eats cookies 3 times a week, not every day anymore, right? So these things really help people. Also, eventually the sugar detox. How many clients you don't know that I've had, especially men, that hate vegetables, can't look at cauliflower, forget it. But then when they do sugar detox, especially like most people these days are addicted to like soda, right? They're like, oh, I don't need sugar, but they do drink sugar, right? The sugar sweetened beverages. When they do at least 7 or maybe 14 days detox off of sugar, you'll be surprised. Their taste buds change. And suddenly they're like, you know what? I just tried. It wasn't that bad, the broccoli with cauliflower, I'm like, it's just a completely different person I'm speaking with. So yes, sugar does get us addicted, and it changes our taste buds. And then eventually, after we do like 21 days sugar, I always encourage my clients to like, you won't be able to even consume those products that you are addicted to now because it would taste cloyingly sweet. You can't even, go back once you go off of it. And the rule with sugar is, and I want everyone to remember this, the more you eat it, the more you crave it. And we've all been through holidays and Christmas, and then next thing you know, you just need a little bit of something every day with coffee. And the less you eat it, the less you crave it.
It's so true. And everybody can do the experiment.
Yeah.
Buy a regular chocolate that is full with sugar, with milk and all these oils. And then buy, I don't know. My favorite is the Dr. Bronner's chocolate. Have you tried it?
No, not yet.
They have. They have a chocolate. And
does it have essential oils added to
it? and it's the best, and they're even tested for heavy metals and all these things. It's super clean. And you will be surprised. You have a square of that chocolate, of the healthy one, and you don't want more than that.
You don't want more than
that. And on the other one, yes. And on the other one, you just want to eat it all.
Yeah.
So it's really about making those switches. Yeah. Another one that I love is dates with butter or with almond butter.
And goat cheese. Have you tried it with goat cheese?
No.
You should. With goat cheese and almond butter. The fats and proteins. I mean, I've been doing this for so many years, ever since I started tracking blood sugars for my clients, and that we had to combine all the sugar, rich products with fats and proteins. And that's when that recipe came up. Yeah. Butter is just fat. It doesn't have any protein to it much. I mean, I'm sure it tastes good, but it's just fat with sugar. It's might as well be cookie. You know what cookie is made of? It's fat with sugar. But nutritionally speaking, so we want to add some proteins. Okay. So you get a tiny bit of protein from almond butter and goat.
Oh my God. I can't wait to try that. So good. Do you think, I think I spoke to you about this, but I've been teaching and educating about parasite cleansing. Yes. And I know it's like a very controversial topic for many people. Yeah. And I've just seen so many, and even me, I've seen the way I felt after doing actually a really deep parasite cleanse. And that's how, and I also became a cell core practitioner, and they taught me the importance of cleaning your drainage pathways before doing any parasite cleanse. Yeah, your drainage pathways, your everything, because sometimes, like, how are you going to be able to detox if you have your colon, your lymphatic system and liver and all these things that are clogged? How are you going to release toxin? What is your point of view and your perspective? And also maybe you have examples of somebody that, I don't know, what is your perspective? Should we cleanse once a year? Is it something that we need to stay on the lookout? Or what do you think?
Okay, so when it comes to specific issues like this, we do a lot of testing. I'm a licensed medical professional. I don't prescribe off. That's why I don't talk about it on social media. So what we do is comprehensive stool analysis, where we analyze. And I've had so many models and so many influencers that come to me like, I must have parasites, because it's a trendy thing to have right now. But what we do when we test, that's like 70% of people don't. They do have dysbiosis, which is bacteria. It's different, like viruses, bacteria, yeast, fungi, and parasites. It's completely 5 different animals. And so, but I recently, then we were speaking about it, around 25% of my clients have parasites. And it's usually, so what we see, I don't see them very often. That's what I tell you. That's why not everyone needs that. But the funny fact, I once diagnosed myself with parasites, and that's what started my journey with gut health. Around 7 years ago, after I became a licensed nutrition professional, I had eczema. And the first time, look, I'm a beautiful girl. I've never had skin issues. And then I had eczema. And then the next month, and I worked at clinics at the time. So all the doctors were on top of it with all types of treatments. And then a month later, it came back. And so this is when I did this comprehensive stool test for me, diagnosed myself with parasites, did the whole deep dive, never had eczema since then. And so over the years, now that I've started, and the whole method was started off of that. So the gut brain method is an educational program where we systemized what creates an optimal gut health. There's 5 different aspects, and parasitic infections or different types of infections is just one aspect of it. Like I said, there could be, people might be having dysbiosis problem with their microbiome. They might have digestive issues, and all of that could result in skin issues, hair issues. And I recently diagnosed someone with parasites. But the way to like in this country, we don't see it very often, but the third world countries, that's where it's popular. And also people with dogs, people who kiss their dogs or drink from the same bottle. There are people like that. That's what we see a lot of it. And that's like, as soon as I see a client with parasites, the first question I ask is like, when did you travel last to the third world country? And the guy went like everywhere. I went to Nepal, I went to Nicaragua, like all these countries that he named. And I said, how many dogs do you have? And he said 2. I was like, that explains it. Okay. So, I mean, and he needed an entire anti-parasitic protocol, right? But I don't really see that everyone needs it. But what you mentioned, the lymphatic system drainage, and to support your natural detoxification process, absolutely. I truly believe everyone needs their, and that's what, like one of the best doctors that I've worked with that like really specializes in it. Like it's like taking trash out of your system, and you need to make sure that trash is being taken on a daily basis, right? Yeah. So to support your detoxification pathways through the skin, through the lymph, through the blood, and like through your liver is essential. And through GI, obviously, daily bowel movements.
So basically, a lot of people are just feeding information from, let's say my own experiences, because I share, I share what I've done, what has worked for me, and let's say it has worked. But a lot of people have to also stop feeding from all the social media and all the things that people are,
and just get to know themselves. What is it that they need help with?
And to be honest, a lot of people are just sharing things because somebody's paying them, you know? So a lot of things are happening on social media. So you recommend is like, take power on your health.
Yes.
Do the test.
Yes.
Let's get your
your body. Get to know your GI, get to know your gut, get to know your hormones, get to know your baseline. And thankfully, we have so many providers now that are opening up their mind. And actually, the Gut Brain Method now is a platform that we've created to educate the future generation of healthcare providers, because most healthcare providers, no one's teaching gut health right now. And we are the first where we systemize the whole approach, because there's so many trending subjects. Is it inflammation? Is it microbiome, or is it parasites? How about we get an understanding of all the biomarkers of all of it, the symptoms that lead to it, and the data and like the testing that could help us to bring clarity. And with that, like not everyone needs parasitic treatment, but some people do.
Exactly. I love that. So it's like, take control of your health and go get a blood test, go get data, stool test, and all the things. And
at
then
least once in your lifetime, I always tell people, at least once in your lifetime, make sure you get a stool test. And the information that you learn from underneath your belly, like, is priceless, and it's worth all the hype. So you never, have to worry about what's everyone else is doing. Good for them. They're doing that. I don't need that.
And also, like you said, at the beginning of our conversation, is that it all started by you being aware, oh my God, I'm super stressed.
Yeah.
And can you be aware that you are very stressed? And maybe that's why your microbiome is like, it's not healthy. It's kind of like the cells and the bacteria are just in constant, like, it's like a bomb, right? So
it's definitely now being connected even more stress, chronic stress, and what we call now the perception of stress. Because different people, will look at, there's one woman that has 5 children and living in a low income community, and then there's one woman that has only 1 child and she's well off. You can't define their stress levels. The one may be more stressful than another, and it's the stress perception that I always tell. So your stress perception, your chronic exposure to different stressful situations, and your anxiety levels, what you perceive as stressful, all of that does affect your microbiome. Yes.
How do boundaries and protecting your peace looks like in your world?
Wow, such a great question. So for me, it's really being focused and having clarity, and understanding that we live in this world of where we're overstimulated. There's so much stimuli these days. So I don't have like phone notifications from any social media at all. Even like from my WhatsApp, I don't have notifications. Right. And so also the really being focused on what it is that nourishes me, and making sure that is a priority, and people that nourish me, and the people, the exchange, the energy that I get with people, like really. And it all starts with like how you tune into your intuition, you tune in with yourself, and then you realize your feelings matter. And then when you feel someone is taking more than giving, you're like, my feelings matter, and this is what I'm feeling, and so I don't want to feel this way. So you step aside. So that it all came down to like really connecting with myself first, And then boundaries, it kind of like, they don't exist for me. I just communicate how I feel. And then it somehow turns into a boundary. It's like, this is not nourishing, so I'm not going to do this, you know? So, and protecting, like, I guess, that's why.
If somebody doesn't honor your boundary, what do you do?
What do I do? Oh my God. I'm actually learning this, you know, like sometimes I just disappear, right? I just like go someone, but then how do I, I just like, I'm learning actually, like as of now, I'm learning how to communicate. Like, look, this is not exciting. This is not what I want to be doing. This is not how I want to be moving. Right. And, communicating with respect to you, and then see how the person responds to it. It takes a lot of emotional maturity to even say that and to respond to that in a mature way. And then you have to, like, I don't know, treat everyone like a child, right? Because they can't communicate in such a way. But it's really comes down to communication and the skill of it.
The reason I'm bringing this subject up is because a lot of the stress and a lot of things that happen, it's because we are not protecting that piece. We're not protecting or honoring that boundary. Like, we already know that this doesn't fit in my life, but we're still letting people walk over it, you know? And it's like you said, like you're learning, and it's like building like muscle, you know? It's something that you need to practice. And at the beginning, it feels so uncomfortable. It really does. You feel like you're doing something bad, but as you grow older and as you feel actually better and your nervous system is more calmer, it just makes so much sense, you know, to prioritize yourself and bring that energy in your environment, right? That's the centered, and that's for sure. Like, I just took a whole month off, and that's exactly how I felt coming back to Miami. I'm already feeling overstimulated with all the things that are going on. But at least after like 5 o'clock, I never touch the computer. I try not to reply to any emails or text messages, and really, like you said, protecting my peace and finding a way to just, you know, nourish my mind and my body more often. What's one daily practice that you recommend to women to feel more balanced hormonally and emotionally?
Daily practice, I mean, movement, and I'm trying to make it super functional. I do like these walking meditations. So when it's just me and nothing else, and I mean, I'm lucky that I live on the golf course, meaning like there's not a lot of people. So I'm like, probably like in Miami, you don't want to be walking when there's a ton of people and you're always going to see someone. But really connecting with the source and the energy, I got it from Joe Dispenza. But for me, it's the movement that helps with lymphatic drainage daily, and also like connecting with your soul more often. I call it the date with your soul. When in these meditations, I can't be sitting still in the corner. That's just like not my way of moving. But walking meditations, and also they're always during sunset or sunrise. So that's what I mean by connecting with the source, the light. I mean, there's so much evidence now about, early sunrise gazing, right? I don't need the science. I just need to feel good. So yeah, I used to be addicted to sunrise meditations on the beach. We're lucky to have it here. But then I started working so hard that I only sunsets I do now, but it's still such a beautiful way to just close out the chapter and feeling the gratitude for the day. And that's what I recommend. We have a whole mindfulness, because I studied every mindfulness technique. We have a whole module in my program that I teach. Whatever works for you, whether it's breath work or body scan meditations before you go to sleep, really knocks you out. Like if you want to fall asleep, do the body scan meditation, breath work, theta healing, hypnosis, whatever it is that's like Kundalini, they're all great. There's all these modalities. And what I'm really proud of, that we brought all this scientific evidence behind it, because we're teaching it to healthcare providers now. Whatever that like mindfulness that really helps you to connect with yourself and get all the answers and all the wisdom from within. That's what I would teach women.
I love it. I love it. And honestly, as somebody that does sound healing and theta healing, I love everything.
I love theta healing. Yes, I'm certified as well.
Yes. I feel like that. I believe that when I was doing that certification, it was more of a confirmation of everything that I knew. Did that happen to you? You were like, hold on, this is like,
kind of gave me the approval of all these like intuitive guidance that you're almost like, I don't know, what is this voice thinking, right? But then when you're there and you're loving, and I've guided so many theta healing sessions for my clients to just really bathe them with all this energy of love and the source, right? That it's just like all the answers come from this state, and all the, you know, the flow state and all the miracles, they all come from it. And everyone deserves to feel that more often. You know, you asked me earlier when I'm at a conference, I'm on the stage, what do I teach people? I teach people that are the smartest doctor in the room is their body. But it takes a lot of energy, resources, and time of investments to really educate that doctor. Doctor doesn't become a doctor until they really know what they're doing. So that's what I teach. You know, that's why like I don't like influencing, I like educating. I'm very passionate about education and systemizing the knowledge. That's why we created this, like, it's really world's first gut health school where we systemized everything. But I really see this like as I'm very passionate about educating the younger girls, because I was that girl. In my 20s, I was confused. I tried every diet when I was transitioning from Wall Street to wellness. I was vegan, I was pescatarian, paleo, Ayurvedic, macrobiotic. I've tried them all the trendy at the time diet. And so I feel like this is our job, and I'm so grateful for this podcast that you're doing to really lead and guide and educate the young women to become this empowered version of themselves that really feels connected to their body.
It's so powerful how mindfulness can bring such awareness to make better decisions for yourself.
You know, sometimes it's not enough. Like, you're mindful of all these things, but you don't have the power, like you said, like to protect your to act on it, right? And it comes with age. I feel like with experience, when you're acting on all these mindfulness, some people ask me for like my advice for success, and I'm like, I just get these visions during my meditations, and I just put actions behind it, right? And that's what creates. But it took me a lot of years to get there, being that powerful self that like truly believes in me, because maybe I didn't have the parents to encourage me, right? That's why I love teaching the young women, because it's not enough sometimes to just be mindful, but also to connect into this inner source of power within.
I also believe that we are so powerful, but also there's like so much information. And like you said, it took me also many years, and I went through like a really deep healing, and I felt the call to do ceremonies and psilocybin and all these things. And somebody that hasn't done it, they're not gonna understand, you know, because it's a journey very unique for each person, where they're going to be able to integrate it, and some people are not going to like it, you know. It's like it's like a different perspective to everybody. But what I can say is that I have so much respect for plant medicine, and it's not something that I don't say, oh, you have to do it. No, like, you feel the call. When it calls you, it calls you. There's just like no way that you can be confused a bit. It's just very clear. But yeah, healing, learning, unlearning, everybody has their own journey, and it really you have to go through phases, experiences, and a lot of maybe heartbreaks and things like that to keep finding yourself, right?
Yep. You want me to comment on that?
Are you going through a heartbreak?
No, not at the moment, but I've been through all of that, what you just mentioned. All of that. Yeah. And I never said, I mean, yes, I guess I do have a lot of respect for plant medicine, but it's not calling me anymore. But it was calling me to record a video about it. I shared my whole thing on YouTube, and it's probably one of my popular videos that I was just very raw and authentic about my experiences, how like when I went through heartbreak, like plant medicine guided me, because I was in a very confused state at the time in my personal life. And I did have an experience with that, and I could relate to everything you were saying, but it's not calling me anymore. But I also don't recommend it to anyone. But if you feel the calling, you know,
same,
just listen to your heart.
Same. I haven't done it, you know, and it took me a little bit to integrate a lot of things, because it's a lot of information. You need to have like the right intention and being ready to heal and get into the dirt to really process and integrate all the information that it's going to be given to you. you're having a book coming.
That's right.
What's the name of it?
It's called the Foodie Diet. I became a dietitian because I like to eat good food. I don't know about you. I hate all the diets. I like, I'm a Taurus, so everything that tastes good, I'm all over it. And so this book is really it's not for the wellness enthusiasts who are feel like they know it all. It's for those who have no clue, and there's still a lot. That's why I got into politics. And, my job is to really translate the science and this lifestyle to a bigger population group. And the Foodie Diet really helps people to combine the love of food, those who still in the mindset are like, let's just, life is short, let's eat whatever they want. Most of Miami, actually. But and those who work hard and really interested in science and understanding. So I combine everything. It's the biggest project I've ever worked on. It took me 5 years to write that book. But I'm grateful to the process. And I combine gut health, nutrition science, and even longevity science, and all types of issues that people are dealing with, the diabetes, weight gain, and skin issues, hair loss, and tied it back to the love of food and how to find balance.
That's so exciting. I can't wait to
November 11th. It's hitting every major bookstore across the nation.
Love it so much. And I actually love the name. I love the name.
Thank you.
I do intuitive eating. A lot of people are like, what's your diet? And I'm like, girl. And listen, I enjoy going out to restaurants too. Yeah. Like, I'm a foodie, I really enjoy.
Yeah.
And you know what? Something, maybe it happens to you too.
Yeah.
But I don't think about food a lot.
Good.
I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like
you had to figure out, there was probably a period in your life when you were thinking,
at the beginning, right? That I needed to, all my emotions were attached to food. And I used to be a huge emotional eater, and now what I've realized is that I don't think a lot about food. I'm not putting emotion to food. If let's say yesterday I was craving a croissant, and I went and bought my croissant because if somebody tells me you can't eat croissant, get out of here.
That's right.
I love croissants. But I didn't say like, oh, I'm sad, I'm going to get a croissant. And it used to be like that. I used to go and drive and buy all these things just because I needed something to numb me, and I would use food for that. But it's just like, it's not that, oh, I'm happy, even though sometimes we're happy, we want to celebrate, we go to the restaurant. But that's something I've noticed, that I don't think about food a lot, even though a lot of people feel that because the way I eat or the way that I share all these things that I'm always like thinking. But you build a habit, right?
Yeah, that's a really healthy approach and healthy mindset. So for those who are watching, if you don't have that, if you're still like, I find yourself like you're spinning your wheels and you're just like counting calories or the amount of grams of your protein on your plate, it means you're still on your way. But this is the mindset, the healthiest mindset that you want to have, is that what you got to have. That's what I try to teach my clients. I try to like simplify all the science into fiber and protein at every meal. Makes losing weight no big deal. Make sure you incorporate your omega-3s, your fibers, your probiotics, your antioxidants and polyphenols at every meal. And there's a list of them that you got to have. And diversity and variety matters. And that's it. Like, I really teach people how to think like a dietitian, because after I became a dietitian, like I wrote this book and I'm kind of like, you've mentioned I do a lot of things. I educate. I really want to leave legacy and as an educator in this industry. And at this point, we really see, as most doctors don't have any clue about nutrition. And this is what we're trying to change. But the Global Longevity Association that we've started, it's all about like getting this knowledge to a bigger population group, people who are in charge. We got to educate our leaders about these things. And I really feel like I have the skill to do that. And this book is one of them.
Thank you so much for really everything that you do, and more like getting to know you more. Like, I feel like, I'm so excited to really, share your story and everything you're doing with my community. I want to ask you some fire questions.
Let's do it.
You can do it you can say it like really fast.
Yeah.
What's your favorite gut-friendly snack?
Probiotic rich plain yogurt, goat's milk or ship's milk. My favorite.
Is there a specific brand? Because I feel like a lot of people are so confused because there's so many yogurt brands. There's so many out there.
There's only
and
a couple. If you shop at Whole Foods, that's where I shop. There's only 2 brands that sell Ship's milk yogurt.
Tell us.
I can't even. There's one that's beige, one that's green.
Okay, just share it on your story.
Yeah. Okay.
What's your Instagram?
Ella Davar.
Okay, share it on your stories. What's your morning ritual you can't live without?
Can't live without my morning meditations. I wake up with a beautiful view of the sunrise. That's why I stopped doing the sunrise meditation. And I just lay there in my bed because I never set an alarm. I always wake up with the sunrise and I just meditate for at least 5 to 10 minutes. And I do these amazing shower of beautiful affirmations of the way I want the day to go. And I get so excited about the things that I need to get to do today. And I jump off the bed. So when you're in this theta state right before you wake up and when you're asleep and fully awake, that's my favorite thing in the morning. And then everything else, the lemon water, the chia seed water. Yes.
Yeah.
I love it all.
What's one ingredient that you will never eat again?
The one ingredient that I will never eat again.
Never say never, but if you have to pick one ingredient that you knew was causing you harm or it's causing harm to your clients, what would that ingredient be?
Oh God.
I can tell mine.
For me specifically, it's unfortunately, I don't even know if I should say it, but it's conventional dairy. Even not even conventional, just cow's dairy. So one thing that about my diet that I hate, I love everything about my diet. The dairy doesn't love me back, unfortunately. I was just traveling and I was like, oh, I'll just eat it all. And I feel it right away, the way it affects me. So that's why I had to take enzymes, to help myself. But conventional dairy just triggers me. I don't have enough enzymes to digest it. And it triggers my skin. It triggers the mucus buildup. That's one thing.
Same. I have to if I buy raw cheddar or Parmesan or even goat cheese, those are good. Those are good with me. For me, it's canola oil. I used to have this Oatly, Oatly, the brand Oatly of the oat milk.
Yes.
And it had rapeseed oil, which is canola oil.
Yeah.
I was always with my face irritated. Yep. And once I stopped, it really let me understand how inflamed my body was because of the canola oil. The one supplement you always take on trips?
I take my multi supplements. It's a multi formula that has herbs, all of the essential nutrients, and I take probiotics when I travel, vitamin D and magnesium.
Amazing. Yeah. Ella, thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom today and to share your story. Yeah. And what's your Instagram again? So
it's my first and last name. It's at Ella Davar and Gut Brain Method.
And what about your website?
It's gutbrainmethod.com.
Amazing. Thank you.